What's up, guys, and welcome back to the GameShow Global Esports Cup. It's been a long time, but we're finally going to take a trip to the Chinese region of Dota, something that I barely ever get to watch because I'm always sleeping. But tonight and tomorrow night, I'm going to stay up late, cast all these games. Today we have 7 in a row. It's going to be a grueling gauntlet, and, well, hopefully I can make it because I'm going to be your only caster for today. I'm Mikelorus, and I hope you guys forgive me for any stupid shit that I say because, you know, it's 1 a.m. right now, going to be going into like 9 a.m. territory. It's not going to be fun for me, but also, this game might not be fun for FTD, who are playing on the Radiant going up against Invictus Gaming. Reborn ate all the names, but rest assured it is everyone here. Big problem with the names right now is that there are 2 people on FTDB who I'm already not really initially familiar with, the second and third player, who have just pure Chinese names. And my Chinese is a little bit rusty. I am not going to try because it's going to not end well. So I don't know what their names are. I did write down most of their names, but again, not really too familiar with the FTD Beast team. They are the qualified teams. Actually, I think they're qualified. I'm not actually sure. I didn't check because I'm irresponsible like that. But the group is stacked. Of course, going up against IG is no easy feat. We'll see if they can pull it out because they have actually 5 games to play today. Up against CDEC, up against Newbie, up against Hongfu, up against Wings. It's going to be a gauntlet, not only for me, but it seems like for FTDB. And for IG, well, they're IG. Going down the list from top to bottom, just to update you guys, we got Super, Rabbit, Ferrari, Luo, and Chuan. And it looks like Luo is like closest to what he should be. Ferrari, is that a picture of himself? I don't know. It might be. All Asians look the same. You know how it is. And I'm Asian, so I get to say that. Screw you guys. But here we go. We have a draft, and I'm getting into this really late. But again, it's late. I'm, whacked out on coffee and stuff. We're going to have some fun. And hopefully it's going to be a good series of games. Got Tusk Rubik as the opening here for the IG side, whereas for the FTD team, it's going to be Winter Wyvern Shadow Fiend. Now, in Winter Wyvern Shadow Fiend, pretty standard opening. You could swap in Dazzle for the Winter Wyvern, swap out for the Undying, get a Queen of Pain there for the Shadow Fiend, but for the most part, you're going to be sitting pretty on those 2 heroes. For IG, it's a Rubik and a Tusk, so very utility heavy from their opening, and well, interesting bans actually from the FTD side. Ancient Apparition being taken out, as well as the Visage. Now again, my familiarity with the Chinese scene is rather limited. Casted a hell of a lot from all the other regions of the world, but not much from China, not for like a couple months, and that was like, casting Newbie Young and Vici Gaming Potential, not really the, S+ echelon of Chinese teams. So there might be some weird metagame thing that I don't know about, but again, you guys just have to excuse me for that one. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, yeah, those 2 heroes are pretty good heroes, but Visage is very rarely, highly prioritized. Ancient Apparition, though, a soft counter to Winter Wyvern, and a good combo with the Rubik is, again, a hero that you can usually consider a little bit later if you're IG. And IG, they are still with only one of their supports right now in their Rubik. Tusk can play that support role, but usually you could assume he's going to be playing support until there's a reason to send him otherwise into a different lane. Interestingly enough, there is no Slardar in the pool right now, which again may just be a regional thing. Who knows? I am going to claim ignorance on that one as far as the Chinese preference on the Slardar pick. It's going to be an Ember Spirit, however, for the FTD side. Getting a pretty solid setup with this. If this was a European team, I would say probably grab a Bane as their 4th pick, get that little bit of a setup for that Ember Spirit, close in, land the chains, and then just beat down. For the IO, it's IG as their pick. Now, IO combos, they're all still in, except for being Gyrocopter, that was actually banned out by the IG side themselves. But grabbing a Tiny here, I mean, there's never really a reason not to. Alternatively, Bristleback, go for the CK, go for the Sven even. In fact, Sven seems pretty decent here up against the Ember Spirit. Again, Stormhammer is something that this Ember Spirit can, in some situations, dodge.
10 seconds
But outside of that, the physical right-click going to be pretty heavy. Going to be really hard to deal with as an Ember Spirit. Of course, if they get to that stage. It's a Night Stalker pickup for the FTD side. So big thanks to FTD for keeping this in my wheelhouse. Like, this is a draft you could give to any EU team, and they'll be doing fine. And IG, I guess, to a lesser extent, although I'm pretty sure you're not going to find an IO 3rd pick anytime soon within the European scene or American scene. Well, sometimes I is actually banned. That's about it, so I don't know. But surprise, surprise.
Radiant team
Raise your hand if you were surprised that there's a Tiny in the field for IG. I'm not surprised at all, guys. I mean, it's probably one of the safest picks to make with the IO ever. Aside from that, you're up against two melee heroes. Granted, Craggy Exterior up against Ember Spirit, not exactly the best. Mostly because, I mean, though melee, he kind of attacks from range with Sleight of Fist.
Turn to ban.
It's still going to be that explosive hero, and for the FTD side, they already have the Winter Wyvern as a response. Ember Spirit, a good defensive response to the IO Tiny, just being initially hard to jump onto. Although once you get a Blink Dagger, should the Tiny get a Blink Dagger, things can get really bad for FTD really quickly.
5 seconds remaining.
Similarly, for the FTD side, they're working with a Night Stalker. They have that early game tempo play. And Ember Spirit, Shadow Fiend, we've seen them time and time again get off to an okay start. They don't even need a fantastic one, yet they still run away with the game. And the soft heroes of Io and Rubik, I mean, these heroes are pretty much food to the likes of Night Stalker. And, you know, a Night Stalker helping out an Ember Spirit and a Shadow Fiend. It's all going to be aggressively slanted, it seems, from the FTD side. It seems like they should be looking for their offlane, unless the Night Stalker wants to take that offlane. We'll see how these lanes want to shape up for both sides. They do have a lot of flexibility. You do get a lot whenever you have an IO. Night Stalker, of course, offlane, or you know, sometimes it's support selection. I generally like him a little bit more in the offlane with dual lanes. That's how I prefer my Slardars also, who, by the way, is still in the pool. So I guess it must be a Chinese thing. If ever I don't understand any of these picks or anything like that, I'm just gonna chalk it up to must be a Chinese thing.
Reserve time.
And that's gonna be my go-to cop-out excuse. That's how I roll, guys. You guys know how it is. By the way, thank you all for tuning in. I don't know where you guys are from. I'm assuming most of you are EU, in which case you're waking up pretty early for this. If you're in America, go to sleep because there's something wrong with you. Unless you're West Coast, in which case, you know, sure, keep trucking. But if you're on East Coast, there's something wrong with you, and something wrong with me for being on the East Coast and casting these games also. But FTD last pick, what's it going to be? As far as, again, Slaughter's really the only standout here, at least that comes to mind. I don't really know if they can fit a Slaughter into their draft right now. It'll be a little bit melee heavy up against the IO Tiny. Yet still, the initiation power of that hero is something that they might be considering if they are looking for initiation. However, Clockwork is in the pool, but it is going to be a Slaughter. Boom! Do I know Dota or do I know Dota, guys? Mad props for me. I don't know if I could give myself props, but I will, and I just did, and you can't stop me because it's already done. Yeah, but it's going to be a very EU draft for the FTD side, so it's good to know that my knowledge is not going to be amiss in this new scene that I'm casting right now. IG, however, what's their last pick? Again, it seems like they're pretty much all in on this IO Tiny. Seems like Tusk is going to go to the offlane, and they're just going to look for a safe lane here with the Rubik. Now, Queen of Pain is going to be one of those more self-sufficient heroes. She was banned out. Gyrocopter similarly banned out for the IG side. So just looking for that safe lane selection, a hero that may be under a little bit of pressure. The lanes from the FTD side are kind of melee heavy, and that's a hero that can punish it. At least, you know, punish the lanes. You're not going to be punishing melee heroes necessarily with Viper. Although I guess corrosive skin kiting, kind of. I mean, you do like kite melee heroes a lot better as the Viper. But again, this is going to be the pick for the IG side that really just spells out, hey, we're just going to dominate our lanes. And then with those dominated lanes, we're just going to crush you afterwards. And who could say no to that? It seems like a pretty good game plan. Right, let's fix up these overlays and let's get this one going. We got the first game of the day, guys. Of the night, rather. And it's going to be FTD on the Radiant side going up against IG. I'm going to introduce who I can, but of course I don't know all these players because look at this shit. Reborn, please. Got everything on the Night Stalker. Hitagi is going to be on the Winter Wyvern. And then Shihuan is on the Ember Spirit. And that's all I got on the IG side going from top to bottom. Just making sure I have this correctly, but I might have to wait actually. Super is, unless they change things up. Well, okay, we got Luo on the Tusk. Jabberwockies is Chuan. UMR is Ferrari. Rabbit is Tiny. And Super is on the IO. I don't know. I mean, sure.
30 seconds to battle.
Why not? We'll just go with that. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. Although I could just double check. Let's take a sample here. Make sure that I have the right person. Hey, you better be Super. And you look Super to me. So yeah, it seems like we're properly tagged up, and we know who's playing what. But of course, I'm not gonna remember jack shit of that because there's too many people here with too many improper names. Remembering is just gonna be a pain in the ass. So we're just going to call them what they're tagged up as. And you guys are just going to have to deal with it. Rest assured, however, IG are all here. FTD, I assume, are all here as well. Again, not super familiar with the FTD side. For IG, it's going to be that pretty classic dual lane mid tiny. IO Tiny going to be grabbing that early game bottle, and that's at level 1. Winter Wyvern and Shadow Fiend for right now going to be chilling with one another. Now, as far as Shadow Fiend's matchup versus these two, as far as Razors are concerned, yeah, he gets some free damage harassment there, gets a couple CS like that. But he does have to be very careful, especially since the IO has grabbed such a fast bottle. It wasn't really interrupted in that at all. The ability for the, top lane actually, those are some sick particles. They're going to pull back the Slaughter. He does have a crush, and he will deploy it, yet still a lot of free damage on the Slaughter. Solo off-lane Slaughter, not exactly the strongest laner in the world. But yeah, they will have kill potential here, the IO Tiny. Throw out a long-range Avalanche, close in for a toss. Whether you toss him up or toss him back into the creep wave, it's still going to be a lot of damage. And Winter Wyvern, when she's here, it's going to be very difficult for IG to actually get those kills. However, Hitagi has to be very careful. Look at the free right clicks. The right clicks are going to be amplified by an Avalanche. Movement speed, tether is there. Hitagi's going to fall to the IO. Carry IO incoming, however, takes a raise. Is going to take another one, maybe. And looks like the Shadow Fiend's going to think better of it. Probably wouldn't have done that much damage anyway. But of course, top lane again, they're going to get a pullback onto the Slardar. One more Viper attack, not going to do it. Of course, this is only a level 1 Viper. He is costing himself a little bit of CS because he's trying to go for the Slardar, but this is the punish of the melee heavy draft coming into play for the FTD side. I mean, they're chilling on this top lane with Slaughter, and there's not much the Slaughter can do here. And over in the mid lane, looks like the Shadow Fiend is again in a rough spot. However, there's no more mana on the Tiny. No more bottle charges on the IO. So it looks like that should just about be it. But this Slaughter is, yeah, getting crapped on, and that's pretty much as to be expected versus a Viper lane, let alone a Viper and a Rubik, who has, again, the sickest of particles. I haven't seen this before, because I don't actually play Dota, guys. LOL. Raised onto IO. Oof, he's barely going to edge out and escape there. Grabs the rune as well. It's a little bit cash for the IO, but most importantly, more bottle charges for the Tiny, who already has grabbed 1 kill on the Winter Wyvern. Really should not be dying in this mid lane, at least not until this combo of the Tiny is level 3, level 4. He has to be a little bit careful over on that mid lane. Which was the bottom lane now. Looks like Luo is going to be going 1v2. Again, up against the Ember Spirit, up against the Night Stalker. Yeah, the kill potential is kind of here on the Tusk, but for the most part, the zoning potential is not. At least, not nearly the same as up on the top lane for the IG side, where Viper can zone out the Slaughter all by himself. Yeah, they'll be able to do this. Put a couple right clicks into the Tusk, but Tusk, with Shards and Snowball, can put a lot of return damage, especially into this Ember Spirit. He's actually gone for Sleight of Fist at level 2. Very interesting to see that. You would expect Flame Guard most likely to just try to run with the Tusk, try to get him with that fire damage. But Luo getting some CS and is not being pushed out of lane, and for the most part, this is a happy Tusk. There's not really much that they can do to push him out of lane until Winter Wyvern finally decides to arrive. But if Winter Wyvern decides to go into the bottom lane, then suddenly this mid lane's going to get a lot shittier for the Shadow Fiend, who's having an okay time right now. But again, this lane gets a lot worse as you do pick up more levels on the Tiny and IO. As far as the jungle is concerned, looks like the IO has been busy, stacking up a hell of a lot of that hard camp. What is this, 1, 2, 3 looks like? And that's a lot of extra gold for the Tiny down the line. Similar situation, kind of, for the Radiant. Not to the same extent, but I'm expecting them to clear it out a little bit quicker at the very least. And of course, making stacks with Winter Wyvern is pretty much her primary job. I mean, helping out the Shadow Fiend is nice, but you really want to make sure that the Shadow Fiend ideally doesn't die, but also will have recovery farm in that jungle should he go down. But IG with 1 kill lead right now. It seems like all lanes working out pretty decently for them. Everything's going to contest this rune. Shadow Fiend here. Oh, Luo. Invis rune. That's a pretty good one for the Shadow Fiend, but really just wanted a rune at all. This top lane is going to be a really bad scenario, however, for the FTD side. Now, Slardar is playing pretty much like an offlane bounty hunter, in that he can't even show his face, and if he does show his face, he cannot turn invis. And even if he can turn invis for some reason, there's a sentry here, so there's actually no escape for the Slardar should he get clipped by a little bit of poison. Sprint, I don't think, is enough to trump poison attack. Boots are up on the Viper and Slardar both, so there's no advantage there. But add a Rubik on top of that, and this Slardar, well, he's going to run into the Rubik right now, lands a crush. He can put some pretty easy damage into the support, but that's about all he can do. And a Slardar with no farm is really a troublesome hero. This is one of the big weaknesses of just putting a Slardar up in this off lane, especially up against such a bad lane matchup. Like, I'm not sure if it actually gets any worse than Viper Rubik. He's not going to get his power treads for a very long time, and any dreams of a blink dagger, not going to be happening. At least, you know, not until like 20 minutes, and until he gets like amplified damage. Maybe he can get some ganks off across the map. Maybe that'll happen, but it seems like that'll be really, really rough for him. Now, the trade-off is that the Shadow Fiend's getting okay farm. The Ember Spirit Shihuan is now going into a 1v0 lane, so the Ember Spirit's perfectly happy. Looks like he's going to go for a little bit more of a standard build after grabbing that early point of Sleight of Fist. Yeah, but IG, their IO Tiny is going to be steroided up in the jungle right now, and we actually do have 3 heroes hanging around here. It's been 1 minute so far of nighttime, yet this Night Stalker, for the most part, has just sat right here and in vision range the entire time, so there's that. Everything is going to try to go to the top lane. That's not really going to do jack, I feel. Even though this Viper has gone for only 1 point in Corrosive, he's still a Viper with power treads sitting on strength. You cannot kill him off unless you have a third hero here. And the third hero, like, has to be Shadow Fiend for the damage, because Winter Wyvern doesn't have any. I guess Ember Spirit would do fine. And Ember Spirit doesn't want to leave this bottom lane because he's getting so damn much. Again, he doesn't really have to worry about dying to the Tusk pretty much ever. And ganks from the IO Tiny, not going to be happening until IO grabs level 6, which granted isn't too far away, but still, as long as the IO doesn't have to relocate, Ember Spirit doesn't have anything to worry about. And even when relocates up, like, you'd still just jump away, not a big deal. First nighttime phase not doing too great for the Night Stalker. Again, wherever he's moving up on this north side of the map, he is spotted. So everything, he may want to get everything, but he cannot get anything, it seems. He will see the fact that, well, there are a couple weakened creeps here. He's not going to see any stacks, however. If he did this a little while ago, just a 1 point of void, he may have actually gotten the kill on the Tiny. Would have been very close. But it's certainly worth it for the Night Stalker to try that. Like, if you die, you're a level 2 hero, but if you get the kill, it's a level 5 Tiny dying solo to a Night Stalker. Suddenly you're level 3, level 3.5, with a truckload of gold to boot. But yeah, this Night Stalker's first nighttime phase is very quickly drying up. He may have an opening over towards mid, but he's sat around this mid lane for literally 3 minutes now. I mean, the bottom lane doesn't need the Night Stalker, but still, this Night Stalker has done absolutely nothing in this first nighttime phase, and that's not necessarily the end of the world for a Night Stalker. Generally, second nighttime phase is really when they hit their stride. But if he dies right now, that's just going to feel so bad. You got a Walrus Punch up on the Tusk, Avalanche Toss combo. Will not quite 100-0 the Night Stalker, and he will get spotted right now. Here comes the Snowball, Avalanche Toss, cratering the Night Stalker. Nice nighttime, bro. Nice movement speed. Of course, you know, he walked right over yet another Observer Ward. So there is that. Night Stalker apparently doesn't do too well up against Observer Wards. Apparently, vision is really good in this game. I did not realize. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm JK. 2 kills now for IG, and still they're sitting pretty. The Tiny is perhaps not getting as much as they would really like, but they're keeping the Shadow Fiend with so much backup right now that Shadow Fiend is, you know, only level 6. It's not bad, but, you know, Tiny's level 6, purely dual laning with an IO. For the most part, that was a dual lane coming out from the Shadow Fiend and FTD as well. And you would ideally like to have your Shadow Fiend get accelerated a couple more levels. He does have the maxed out raises, so farming the jungle is going to be a cakewalk. You know, Presence of the Dark Lord, maxing out Necromastery, still a long ways away since he actually gone for a point of Requiem of Souls, perhaps a little bit early. Doesn't seem like he's going to have a chance to use that anytime soon. But hey, I mean, it's better to have it and not need it, I suppose, than need it and not have it. This top lane is a problem, though. IG are getting free farm on a Viper, which in the very long scale grand scheme of things isn't really the most terrifying hero to have farm. Like, if this was a Spectre, then yeah, I'm pretty sure FTD are like already losing this game really heavily. But having it just be a Viper is not the end of the world. Now, the problem with this Viper is that he will grab an item at around the same time that Tiny is going to grab his Blink. It's 1,000 gold for the Tiny, and he's going to clear out a couple more stacks. So again, I would expect a Blink Dagger to come out on the Tiny, and then Viper, whether he's going to go for a Mechanism or he's going to go for a Yasha type item, or just go for a Slaughter kill by himself. Nice sprint, not really helping him right now. He's just going to get run down. Okay, don't want to get too close to the Viper. Turns out, again, Viper is good against melee heroes in lane. Who would have thought, guys? Who would have thought? That's only with level 2, maybe only level 1 in Nether Toxin, I'm not actually sure. But not much Nether Toxin, so the Viper can even do more damage, as if that's fair enough. And we do have a Relocate now in the IO. Not really sure what they're all doing in this top lane, however. I mean, yeah, the bottom lane's kind of dead. Night Stalker is farming that one up, however. Ember Spirit was hanging around there before. Kind of weird to see it. It does seem like IG's positioning right now will suggest that they're going to either try to go for a push, or just try to have this Tiny and IO jungle up until the point where they see someone to relocate upon.
Dire's middle tower
It doesn't seem like there are many openings for that. Like, Night Stalker is relocatable right now, but if you start the relocates, Night Stalker may still survive.
Radiant structures are
Actually, level 7 Tiny, level 3 Spirits. You kill off the Night Stalker. So Night Stalker's playing things really fast and loose down the bottom lane. We also do have a double damage Tusk. This Walrus Punch is going to hurt like hell. Captain Falcon, take notes, man. This Tusk knows how to punch things. Seems like it's just going to be a straight push. Tower down, Tiny's going to destroy it, putting himself a little bit closer to that Blink. I would assume it's going to be Blink, because if he was going for an Aghanim Scepter, he would have had a point booster by now. It's not exactly a surprise item. And he's so very close to it. Then it's just going to be IG exploding with aggression. And it looks like it is going to be, drums build for Viper. Very small, but no, now they're going to punish this Night Stalker. Feeling too comfortable, bro. He's going to actually not die. What the hell? What? Did you guys see that? Okay, I have no idea what the hell that was. But again, Night Stalker, it's not nighttime. He's not even level 6, so he can't even pop Darkness. And now, they got the Blink Dagger on the Tiny. Unfortunately for him, he has no mana. And Luo's gonna have to try to slink over here to give him some mana. He will do so. Blink Avatos is now up. It will at 100-0 the Ember Spirit. He gets Flame Guard right beforehand. He does not have a Spirit to jump to. Now he does, however. The Tiny's right on his trail. Shihuan is going to get away, albeit barely. And that was a very subtle move over there from the Tusk. Just casually going over to the Secret Shop to force feed my buddy and Mango. Now has Arcane Boots. That will not put Tiny up to the 240 Magic Mana mark. With the IO coming in, it seems like they will get close. Now they're going to smoke up. Round 2 over in this bottom lane. Shihuan has no more bottle charges. Has a Remnant to jump to in his own trees. But if you're getting 100-0, you can't really jump to a Remnant now, can you? IG want blood right now. And it looks like they're going to take a walkabout. They see the Ember Spirit. He, again, does have the guard up. Will that save him up against his damage, though? Blink, Avatar, Snowball in. He'll just get annihilated. Easy Ember Spirit kill. Easy life for IG. Up towards top lane, it looks like FTD looking to make a aggressive play of their own. Amplified damage is up, so killing off this Viper with the physical damage is very possible, although with his positioning is currently impossible. You're not going to catch up to that Viper. Now he has drums. He can put up a hell of a fight. This bottom lane is just going to be beaten down. They're taking one tower, and this Tiny's Blink Dagger has already gotten himself one kill. It's a start. Relocate, of course, is up again. Got the Rubik hanging around just in case. It doesn't seem like this is a defendable tower here from the FTD side. We'll most likely just have to let it go. Of course, they're looking for some sort of trade. Slaughter has grabbed 16 CS in a 12-minute game. Not exactly an ideal spot to be in. Again, he's gone for Tranquils, seems like out of necessity. He will most likely get a very slow Blink Dagger. In fact, it might be so slow that he might need to just settle for the Force Staff, because the aggression from IG is slowly starting to ramp up. They now have a good read on what the items are on the Viper, so he's going to go for the early stats. Luo's going to teleport in. He is spotted, I believe, by this Observer Ward. Yeah, he's definitely spotted. So they know that Luo is somewhere around here. Like, here comes the Ember Spirit. He's going to clear out some trees. They won't find him. Sigil goes up. Snowball is there. And the Tusk is going to Walrus Punch the Night Stalker, but gets chained down. One raise, and that's going to be Luo to fall. However, here comes Relocate from the backside. It's Tiny with the IO, of course. He's immediately going to get cursed up, but that's just a minor stun. Ember Spirit's going to get right on top of the Tiny as well, but he's not dying because the IO is funneling health, so much health into him. They will not drop the Slaughter just yet. They will look for the lift up onto Shihuan. Drop him into the IO, and that's actually going to be the Rubik's death. Going a little bit too far by himself. And that's going to be 2 kills so far. Shadow Fiend and Wild the Requiem do a lot of damage right now. And with the Crush, they'll kill out the Tiny. Slaughter's still alive. Viper's still alive as well. With the drums, he can fight, but not against this many heroes. UMR is going to fall soon, although here comes the IO with a little bit of health. It's going to be a double kill for the Shadow Fiend. Don't know if they have enough gas in the tank to kill off the IO. Seems like Ember Spirit, with no more mana to jump to Remnants, is going to have to call it quits. That is going to be 3-0, 4-0, 4-0. And a massive gold swing for the Radiant. Look at that. Cashing in so hard. Now, mind you, IG started that fight by losing their Tusk without really doing that much of anything. He got a Walrus Punch shards off. It's not nothing, but it's definitely not enough. Relocated the IO Tiny in with no Viper in the area already. So IG kind of came in piecemeal there. And even though their laning phase has had a really good start, you go in like that, you're going to die. Oh, they're going to find Night Stalker. Speaking of going to die, Avalanche Toss combo, not quite enough to 100-0. One more punch is all they need, but it seems like the Tiny will fall short. Not a big deal. It's all about sending a message, not about getting those kills necessarily. Just gotta make him scared, man. Fear the Night Stalker, yeah, but yeah, you should also fear the Tiny. I'm sure there's some sort of, like... I'm not gonna get into it now, never mind. Maybe next game, depending on the picks. I'll get into what I was just about to say. We're going to leave it alone right now. It is going to be a pretty massive win for the FTD side. Again, IG, they have the Tiny, and he's farming up pretty darn well, but killing him off is going to be a big deal. We just have to make sure that the Slaughter is able to survive, because after that one fight, and we had like 0 gold before, now he has 1400. He only got 1 kill, but he's survived and got experience for however many heroes he was nearby. Probably at least 3, maybe even the full 4. A lot of cashing in for them. Oh, smoke up is immediately going to be blown. Oh, another smoke up. It's also not going to work, guys. There's an invisible Tiny here, and they have no idea. I'm not sure how intentional that was. Like, one person smoked up, and they're like, oh, it didn't work. I'll smoke up now. Maybe this one will work. So, Tiny getting a value invis rune. 2 smokes for the price of 0. Feels good, man. Feels real good. I'm not sure if Tiny even realized that he blew a double smoke there. Like, he might just be walking in, seeing a couple heroes, and he's like, oh, not a big deal, just a couple heroes here. There's no reason for them to have detection in this game aside from devording, so I'll just walk right on by. Easy peasy. That's unfortunate for FTD. Like, it was going to be a gank happening right at the tail end of nighttime. Of course, Night Stalker really wants to get some action going during the second nighttime phase. They'll jump in, Avalanche, toss up the Night Stalker right now. There is no follow-up to this one. They've already used their Viper Strike, and now Tiny's going to get silenced and hit with 1 raise. He's going to fall as they do lock down Luo. And that's going to also lock down that Rubik. Snowball is there, but the Rubik will get saved for a little bit. No, he actually is going to fall, and now Luo's going to fall as well. That's 3 kills for the Radiant side, and they're going to pop the Darkness, go for more. Crush is going to arrive onto the IO. He's going to get beaten down, and he will die as well. Another 4-0 exchange for the Radiant. IG, what's going on, man? I mean, they use the Viper Strike as casual harassment to the Shadow Fiend. This guy is bulky, though. He's got his mechanism completed. He has a Sange, and I guess he had a couple bottle charges there. So yeah, that Viper Strike just for value harassment. Not exactly what you want to do, and then initiate solo with the Tiny. That was, first of all, a great curse, though, by Winter Wyvern. Not only locking down those 2 heroes, but also barred IG from reinforcing their Tiny, just because there is like a giant no-fly zone in this area. So if they're going to reinforce their Tiny, they have to take a different route, and there was no different route there for them to actually take. It's going to be yet another win, and, you know, I guess you could say Smoke was successful, kind of. I don't know if you can get away with saying that. Smoke was not as bad as it could have been. But still, for IG, they've lost now a little bit of that lead. Shadow Fiend is leading the way in terms of farm. Still, he is pretty vulnerable in this game. Still, Blink Avalanche tosses a threat, but Tiny, he's dying a couple times. And not getting your Aghanim Scepter at a timely rate. You would ideally want to have it 20-25 minutes in, like at absolute maximum. Of course, after going for the Blink Dagger. He's gotten like 1 kill on the Ember Spirit with it. Other than that, he's been kind of going a little bit too YOLO. And you know what they say, guys. He's only YOLO once. Blink Crush over in the mid lane, jumping for the Ember Spirit. The Viper is pretty tanky right now, but he's going to take a couple raises, and he will get put into the Snowball. Requiem will be cancelled, and now with the Mechanism, Viper will get a little bit more distance away. However, Night Stalker's right on his tail. Io's going to try to get in the way, and he will be successful. How did they both survive? Tusk is going to get hit with the Curse, though. He's not going to survive. 1 raise? No, just a couple of right clicks. Going to kill off the Tusk. Winter Wyvern right clicks, too strong. IG just getting jumped over in the mid lane. Surprise, Slaughter has a really fast Blink Dagger, even after getting annihilated in a lane. Winning a couple of those fights, and now he's going to run in. Avalanche going to completely miss from Tiny. He's going to get a little bit of juice from the IO, but he's taking so much burst damage, he's going to fall. Tiny down, and they get Splinter Blast to connect onto the Rubik. He's going to steal Amplify damage, and that's nice and everything, but you need to do a lot more than that if you're going to survive this. He's going to stay still and concede himself to his fate. Rubik down, Slaughter has the Blink Dagger. He does kind of know where the targets are. He sees the Viper, obviously. But IG are just giving kill upon kill away to FTD. Kind of feels like they're getting a little bit too overconfident here.
Dire's structures are fortified.
And IG just have to really respect this Blink Slaughter. I mean, that first usage was a surprise over in that mid lane. Every subsequent usage should not really be that punishable, or that valuable for the Slaughter. I mean, yeah, you would expect to get the Blink Crush. That's about it. But anything outside of that, like Blink Crush on 2-3 heroes, as long as IG have map vision up, and they kind of do. That's a Radiant Observer. We're not really sure why I circled that. IG, their vision is kind of lacking right now, so keeping themselves safe versus the jumping in of the Ember Spirit and the jump in from the Slaughter. It's going to be tough times for them. It's going to be tough times. Interesting build from the Viper. Now, I do like drums on my Vipers. I would have assumed this was going to be a Yasha build, SNY, something along those lines for the Viper. Diffusal Blade. Now, you can purge off I believe the shield. You could also purge off amplified damage, and of course getting rid of crippling fear, void. These are all valuable tools. The issue with the diffusal blade is that it accomplishes nothing really unique, at least not anything more unique than a Manta style would. Like Manta style will get rid of most of those tools from like the Night Stalker especially. It gets rid of amplified damage. A little bit more offensively oriented perhaps for the later stage of the game. Like if this game was going well for IG, I would say go ahead, get the diffusal blade. At the bare minimum, it gives you like what, 22 agility, 20 agility. It's not bad in that regard. It's not really as if the Viper needs additional help with the slows though. Like I would say among heroes in Dota, Viper is pretty well positioned to deal with heroes as far as keeping them from running away with slows. Viper probably does it the best, in fact. I would say that's pretty much a fair assessment, although Gar Ranger is not terrible, I guess. And Viper kind of does it better. Diffusal Blade is now up. IG still have only one component of their Aghanim Scepter Tiny. And he has another gold for another component, but it's nighttime phase once again. And fortunately for the Radiant, this Sentry is not going to do jack, at least not yet. Rubik placed it, but he didn't actually see it. And now he will see it, so he knows that he might be spotted. He should also know that Roshan is being cleared out, and very quickly. It always seems like there's a double damage rune on Shadow Fiend. Does it ever feel like that, guys? Like, it's always the DD rune, always the perfect time. Shards, however, are going to scout in. They know that the Roshan is very low, however, making a play is a little bit too late. Shadow Fiend's stuck, but he does see the Sigil, so free gold? Almost free gold. Unfortunately, double damage rune doesn't help you against Sigil for some reason, because that makes sense, Dota. It does help you against wards. Very easy Aegis. Again, amplified damage is pretty bonkers up against Roshan, and having a double damage rune on your Shadow Fiend doesn't exactly hurt. Here we go, right down the mid lane. Time to make an aggressive plan. It's time for IG to be on the defense. We'll see if this Viper's Diffusal Blade is actually able to come into play. I mean, they have him back on the Tusk. He's pretty well positioned. Glimmer Cape is actually on the IO. He's very wealthy considering the state of the game. But still, I'm not really sure if that's really going to help them enough, because they have to jump in, burst down the Shadow Fiend, then disengage, then burst him down again. So, you know, it's a tough time. It's a tough experience there for IG. Taking this long, drawn-out fight up against this Shadow Fiend with Ember Spirit right behind him is not desirable in the slightest. Because of sleights of fist. Get it? That was terrible wordplay, guys. I'm sorry. That was not up to par. I blame the lateness. Mid lane tower, slowly but surely, is going to chip, and for IG, this is a tower that they can concede. But this is going to set a dangerous precedent. If FTD are able to kill off this tower freely, with no resistance from IG, then this tower is also pretty much forfeit. And Shadow Fiend is doing quite a bit of damage. Ember Spirit at the same time, split pushing up towards top lane. Travel's completed, of course, so he can teleport in. Maybe not the easiest thing to do up against the AoE of IG, because his creep might just get popped. Well, they'll jump in, have a toss to the Shadow Fiend, just for damage value. You can see Avalanche toss 240 mana for like 900 HP worth of damage. Not a bad investment there from the Tiny. The only problem is this. Shadow Fiend's going to get embraced up. It's only level 1. It's actually, might have been a little bit higher, but Arctic Burn is maxed out at this point. And IG, well, they are going to hold their tower. And that is very nice, of course. The downside of that push is that, of that play, however, is the fact that FTD spent pretty much nothing to get that free damage on this tower. Dropped it down to a third. So they invested nothing, got free tower damage. And at the same time, IG were dicking around the mid lane. Like, they were actually not farming, getting absolutely nothing done. Whereas FTD are farming on the Ember Spirit. So it's a 4v5 over in the mid lane, 5 heroes from IG doing nothing, whereas the one hero not in that fight for FTD, he's actively farming and actively getting a lot closer to his Battle Fury. What are these items? Not really sure what these are going to be. Oh, Aghanim Scepter on the Night Stalker. Oh, that's going to come up really quickly. He's actually grabbed a Hand of Midas also. This Night Stalker is going to be pretty darn stacked. It is daytime right now, but Night Stalker, of course, does have that darkness if needed. And this time for IG, they're starting to split push out, realizing the fact that if they sit in this mid lane forever, they're first of all not going to be able to defend this tower, but they're also probably not going to take a gold lead while that's happening. Unless a fight happens out of nowhere and they somehow win it. It's very possible to see that, but it's difficult. Ember Spirit, he's not going to jump in. Glimmer Cape on the IO right now is going to get him a little bit of distance. He's going to try to teleport away. Chains, it's not going to land properly. Stupid chains, they never work when you want them to. But it's a free tier 2 tower for FTD, and as I said, that's a dangerous precedent. You know what they say, when you give a team a tower, they're going to want another tower to go with it. And by they say, I mean, you know what I say. Because I'm pretty sure I'm the only one who says that. And I don't even say it that often, so honestly, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Tower, bottom lane is going to be Siege, and IG, this is their last outer tier 2. And it doesn't seem like they have any plans on defending it. They're kind of scared, they're kind of just chilling. Sometimes you just gotta chill. They'll throw out ice shards occasionally, try to clear up the creep wave, buy as much time as they can. Tiny has grabbed the Aghanim Scepter, but I'm not really sure how much it's going to help him because Blink Crush is there just for value harassment. Crush stolen now by the Rubik. And actually not a terrible skill to steal, especially if you get a Chain Stun onto the Ember Spirit. They blink Avatos, but it's not going to work out. Jabberwock is going to get killed off by his own allies. And now the Tiny taking a lot of damage. They'll relocate him out, snowball as well, onto the Shadow Fiend, yet he has BKB and Aegis if needed. He's not even taking enough damage. I don't even know if he's going to go down right now. They'll bring down the tower. Blink Crush onto 2. Chuan is going to drop very quickly. That's actually Luo. I don't know. Name's too hard. And GG's called. 14-6. Yeah, again, I'm sorry about that name drop. I'm not really sure what happened, but not really sure what happened in this game either. Does anyone know what happened? I wasn't watching or something. Something happened. And this game ended 15-6, 26 minutes in. I mean, that was kind of a lackluster series of fights for IG. I kind of expected them to do a little bit better, honestly. My expectations, perhaps a little bit high. But FTD, even after a really crappy early phase with the Slardar, got 2-1-7 and what really was the engine in that last fight. And, well, that's going to mean that FTD, in their grueling gauntlet of games, are going to be winning the first one. And, of course, because it is a grueling gauntlet, they're not done yet. They have a little bit of a break, and we all do, because FTD are going to be going up against Tong Fu next. Yeah, for IG, kind of a lackluster display. I mean, I guess it was just those early fights. That first fight on the top lane that really kind of jarred them up, put them on tilt maybe. Like, they kind of went in one at a time, and after that, they really didn't get anything going. Blink Dagger on Tiny was up for, like, what, 10 minutes at least? And he got 1 kill on the Ember Spirit. He tried a lot, but IG seeming like they're not on the same page. But either way, guys, this game is over. I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm going to be a little bit honest. I expected a short game. Not going this way, though. So, there's that. Guys, I'm Mikelorus. It's been a pleasure casting this game for you. Again, there are many more games to be played in the future. 6 more, in fact. I believe 4 of which are going to include FTD. 2, 3, 4. Yes, my math is correct. So, I will be right back in about 20 minutes for the next game. Again, it's going to be FTD going up against Tong Fu. I'll see you then.